ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another exciting episode of Trigger Warning Radio. I am your host, the Kaiju Conservative. Folks, I'm going to start this episode with a bit of a disclaimer. You know, I am not usually one to go in for false flag conspiracy theories. In fact, I usually believe most of the time that people pushing false flags are a bunch of freaking idiots. But with these bombs that have been mailed to these high-level Democrats and now the CNN newsroom in New York, I have to say, folks, this does not pass the smell test. So for those of you who have not been paying attention to the news at all today, let me kind of catch you up to speed on what's going on. So it started yesterday or the day before, I think it was the day before, when a mail bomb was sent to the New York house of leftist financier George Soros. Now, this device was discovered by an employee who by the way, who didn't call the cops right away, but he took it out of the mailbox, placed it in the woods, and then called the cops. That just, if you see, folks, I'm going to assume that everybody would have the exact same reaction that I would have, but if I see what looks like a bomb in my mailbox, I'm not going to touch the damn thing. I'm going to call the cops. I'm not going to move it to the woods and then call the cops. I'm gonna call them right away and have them move it, and so that right there, the suspicious fact number one. But anyway, today there have been a whole bunch of bombs and packages mailed to a whole bunch of different Democrats. The CNN office in New York City was evacuated because of a bomb that was sent to them. Then you had bombs sent to the Obamas, sent to John. The CNN bomb, by the way, was addressed to John Brennan, and then you also had bombs mailed to the Clintons as well. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, which is really weird. I mean, when has Debbie Wasserman Schultz been in the news the last 2 years? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I know I'm missing some other names. Have been so many bombs that have been mailed out. So, of course, immediately, the left started attacking Republicans and Trump supporters, and specifically blaming President Trump for these bombs, saying that this is because of the climate of hate and fear that he has created. And we had New York Governor Andrew Cuomo getting out and talking about how, well, this is an act of terrorism and this is the world we live in, and blah blah blah. Hillary Clinton responded to it as well from a campaign event down in Coral Gables, and the left is just clutching their pearls and beside themselves with grief and fear, and how could President Trump allow this to happen in today's America? Oh no. Here's the thing, though. I don't buy this for a second. This does not pass even a basic smell test, ladies and gentlemen. Let me break it down for you. Pay attention. This is going to be a little bit of an lengthy analysis, but I think it's something that needs to be said. So look at where we're at here. We are less than 2 weeks out from probably one of the most contentious elections in recent memory, especially one of the most contentious midterm elections in recent memory, at least, easily as contentious as the 2016 election, if not more so. And then we have, and to top it all off, look at what happened before all of this happened, too. Before all of this happened, what did we have? We had a number of weeks of absolutely terrible public relations disasters for the Democrat Party. We had the Christine Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh fiasco. We had Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren releasing her DNA test in an attempt to embarrass Trump and completely destroy any narrative he might come up with against her, which really just turned out to be an epic self-own on Elizabeth Warren's part. Then we had this migrant caravan coming in as well that's up to 14,000 strong, and we have Democrats saying, oh, we need to let them in, we need to embrace these poor people, and on top of all of that, now it's looking definitively like that blue wave that has been promised by Democrats to their supporters is not going to happen at all. We have early voting favoring Republicans way more than Democrats, which is something that almost never happens, folks. Early voting is where the Democrats engage in all of their fraud. So early voting is naturally supposed to help the Democrats, except it's not. It's overwhelmingly favoring Republicans in many, many states. So you have this this blue wave election that's looking like it's probably not going to happen. You have the Kavanaugh bump increasing Republican fortunes in many, many, many swing states. It's looking more and more like the Republicans are going to make gains in the Senate, and if not gains in the House, then they're at least going to hold their majority in the House. Everything is absolutely horrible for Democrats right now. I mean, this is as bad as it gets, and they are desperate. Folks, they're absolutely desperate. Oh, and I also forgot, we had the whole hashtag jobs not mobs thing that President Trump coined a couple of days ago as well. This is after months, literally months, of high-profile Democrat mobs accosting people in restaurants, accosting GOP leaders and Republicans in restaurants, assaulting Trump supporters in the streets, riots in Portland caused by Antifa. You had that one guy in Portland who was screaming at a 9/11 widow over there, you know, and all of that is having an impact on the election, and it's not going the way that the Democrats want. So if I'm a Democrat strategist and I am extremely desperate at this point, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to try and blunt some of that criticism, some of that jobs not mobs criticism that that has been flying around out there, because let's face it, the Democrat Party at this point is now a mob, 100%. So I'm going to blunt some of that criticism with some maybe a false flag event that shows that the GOP, the Republicans, have mobs on their side too. And what better way to do that, I guess, than mailing a whole bunch of letter bombs, Unabomber style, to pretty much every single solitary person on the Republican hate list. I mean, folks, the list of people that have received these bombs, it is exactly what one would expect to find on a checklist. You got the Obamas, check. You got the Clintons, check. You've got CNN fake news, check. You've got, you've got John Brennan, check again. Check all the way, like somebody had put together a list, except for Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I can't get over why anybody would send her a bomb. I mean, seriously, she has not been in the news at all today. Oh, and then there's the fact that at least 2 of the packages had Debbie Wasserman Schultz's return listed as their return address. Not saying she did it, but it is interesting, and it just gives me this picture of Debbie Wasserman Schultz in her house in Florida, in her garage, late at night, with these fluorescent lights magnified over this package of wires, and just soldering together this bomb, mumbling about how she's going to show everybody, she's going to get everybody, she's going to get her name back in the news, and it's just oh my God, it's too freaking funny. So anyway, going back to the matter at hand, yeah, this does not pass the basic smell test here, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to come out and say it. I think this is a Democrat false flag in order to sway the election and try and maybe possibly get that blue wave going. I think it's twofold is the purpose here. There's 2 reasons for this. Number one, they need to blunt the criticism that the Democrat Party is the party of the unruly mob. Democrats have proven many times that is exactly the demographic that they are catering to, and the demographic that is their party's makeup now. So they need to blunt that criticism, and they need to show people that, well, there's mobs on both sides. See, look what the GOP is doing. They've got their supporters sending letter bombs to our people. Oh, isn't it just horrible? Oh my goodness. Oh. You know, cry me a, cry me a river, cry me a river. But then the second thing, the second purpose for this, I think, is to re-energize their base. Because let's face it, folks, the Democrat base it is not energized, especially after the Kavanaugh failure. Republicans are way more energized than the Democrats are, as shown by the aforementioned early voting numbers favoring the Republicans, and every enthusiasm measure out there favoring Republicans, except for polling done by news outlets like CNN and that sort of thing. So they need to energize their base again and remind them that this is the election where they have to save the country from the evil Republicans, that terrorists that are trying to destroy it. And again, what better way to do that than by mailing out a whole bunch of different bombs? The other thing that I think is interesting is how literally each and every single one of these bombs was intercepted before it reached its intended target. Not one bomb exploded. We had what, at least 5, 6 bombs at least that had been sent out, and not one of them exploded. All of them were found just in time, which I don't know, folks. Maybe I'm getting paranoid. Maybe there's something in the air, but this whole thing smells to high heaven, and I would not be surprised if this was some sort of weird October surprise put together by the Democrat Party in order to win the elections in a couple of weeks. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Are you as suspicious over these bomb threats as I am? Let me know. If you have a different theory than I do, let me know as well. As always, if you liked what you heard, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Both those things help me out quite a bit, and I will see you all next time.